The great hall fell silent as Jin Ho entered. His scaled body gleamed under the blue lights of the chamber, 7 feet tall with teeth as long as fingers. Jin Ho was not even the largest creature in the room. He was, however, the leader. "The Predator Council will now begin," Jin Ho said, his voice deep and clear. "Representatives from all 12 galaxies are present." Around the circular table sat the most feared hunters in the known universe. Some had claws that could cut through metal. Others had skin that could turn invisible. All of them killed to live and lived to kill. Jin Ho touched the glowing screen in front of him. A map of stars lit up above the table. "It has been 100 years since our last full meeting," he said. "Today we will discuss new hunting grounds and update our maps of safe territories." Daesung, a jellyfish-like creature from the Whirlpool Galaxy, raised one of his 10 tentacles. "My species needs new feeding areas. The prey in our sector grows too smart, too careful." Others nodded. It was a common problem. Once prey species learned about predators, they became harder to hunt. "We have found 14 new planets with suitable prey," said Jin Ho. "The details are in your files." Min Ji, a sleek, furred hunter with 6 eyes, spoke next. "What about the yellow zones, the places marked as uncertain?" Jin Ho looked to Taiwan, the council's oldest advisor. Taiwan was small compared to the others, but his mind was sharp. His skin changed colors as he stood, a sign of deep thought among his kind. "There is one area we must discuss," Taiwan said. He touched the star map, and it zoomed in on a spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. "This solar system has been avoided by our kind for thousands of years, but we have never made an official ruling on it." The room grew quiet. Jin Ho leaned forward. "Which system?" "It has a yellow star at its center. Third planet is called Earth by its inhabitants." Several council members shifted uncomfortably. Jin Ho noticed. "You know of this place?" he asked the room. No one spoke at first. Then Kang, a predator with bony plates covering his massive body, said, "My great-grandfather's hunting party went there." None returned. From across the table, Ho Jin added, "My people sent explorers there 400 years ago. We lost contact immediately." Jin Ho frowned. "Why is this not in our records?" Taiwan's skin turned a deep purple. "Because no one lived to make reports. We only have stories, whispers. The system has resources, water, metals, plenty of life. Yet no predator species has established territory there." "What lives on this Earth?" Jin Ho asked. Taiwan displayed a series of images, small creatures with no claws, no armor, walking on 2 legs. "These are the dominant species," he said. "They call themselves humans." Laughter erupted around the table. The creatures looked weak. Soft skin, dull teeth, no natural weapons at all. Jin Ho did not laugh. "Then why have we avoided this place?" Silence returned. No one had a good answer. "I propose a formal investigation," Jin Ho said. "We must determine if Earth should be marked as forbidden territory or open for conquest." The vote was quick. All 12 representatives agreed. "Who will lead this mission?" asked Minji. Jin Ho looked around the room. "We need our best scientists and hunters. This mission must succeed where others have failed." Taiwan's skin shifted to yellow, a warning color. "Choose carefully, Chairman Jin Ho. There must be a reason all previous expeditions never returned." Jin Ho nodded slowly. "Prepare a list of our best people. We will solve this mystery once and for all." As the council moved to other matters, Jin Ho couldn't stop thinking about those small, weak creatures called humans. What could make them so dangerous that even the greatest hunters in 12 galaxies avoided their home? He intended to find out. Sung Min did not like being summoned. As the top scientist from the Sumburo Galaxy, he felt his time was too valuable to waste on council meetings. But when Chairman Jin Ho calls, even the proudest predators answer. "You want me to study a backwater planet?" Sung Min asked, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence to show his annoyance. Send a junior team. Jin-Ho's tail slapped the floor. Junior teams never return. That is why you are going, Sung-min. This is not a simple mission. Sung-min's anger faded into curiosity. No one returns, from a planet of soft creatures with no claws or fangs. Exactly, said Jin-Ho. That is the mystery you must solve. 2 days later, Sung-min met his team in the launching bay of the Council's space station. Hae-Nul was already there, her skin changing colors to match the walls around her. As the best stealth expert in 3 galaxies, she could become nearly invisible on any terrain. This mission is a waste of time, she said to Sung-min. But at least the pay is good. Jun arrived next, his thin body covered in special glands that could produce over 50 different poisons. He carried no weapons. He was a weapon. I heard humans have no natural defenses, Jun said, extending a hand that dripped slightly with a harmless greeting toxin. This should be simple work. The last member of the team was Du-Yoon, much younger than the others. His specialty was studying primitive species, while the others had killed countless prey. Du-Yoon preferred to watch and learn. We should not underestimate any species, Du-Yoon said quietly, especially one that has kept predators away for so long. Sung-min laughed. Young one, I have hunted across 5 galaxies. Trust me, there is always a simple explanation. Perhaps the planet has bad air or water that sickens our kind. Their ship was small but fast. It took 3 weeks to reach the Milky Way, and another week to approach Earth's solar system carefully. They stopped at the red planet the humans call Mars and set up their first observation post. Primitive satellites everywhere, Hae-Nul reported, looking at her screens. The humans watch their skies, but their technology is basic. Sung-min studied the scans of Earth. So much water, so many different creatures. But the humans are everywhere, on all continents. Jun looked confused. If they are so weak, how do they survive with the larger animals I see in these scans? Do-Yoon pointed to images of human settlements. They build. They make tools. Look how they have changed the land. The team moved closer, establishing a hidden base on Earth's moon. From there, they could see Earth in great detail. They watched humans build cities, drive vehicles, and fly small aircraft. No natural weapons, but they make artificial ones, Jun noted. Interesting adaptation. Sung-min was growing impatient. Nothing here explains why predator teams disappear. These humans are clever animals, nothing more. We need closer observation. I recommend caution, Du-Yoon said. We should study their communication first, learn their languages and habits. Hae-Nul sided with Sung-min. Or we could simply take a few specimens and be done with this mission. Du-Yoon shook his head. The council wants answers, not samples. Sung-min made his decision. Hae-Nul and Jun will go to the surface using full camouflage. Du-Yoon and I will monitor from here. Choose a remote area with few humans. Hae-Nul smiled, her skin rippling with excitement. I know just the place. A large forest in what they call South Korea. Few humans, plenty of cover. As Hae-Nul and Jun prepared for their mission, Du-Yoon felt uneasy. Something doesn't make sense, he told Sung-min. If humans are so simple, why has no predator species ever reported back from Earth? Sung-min waved his concern away. We will have our answers soon enough. But as he watched the landing craft depart for Earth, even Sung-min felt a strange chill of worry. The small ship landed silently in the forest. Night covered the mountains of South Korea with darkness, perfect for hunters like Hae-Nul and Jun. Activate camouflage, Hae-Nul said, her skin already changing to match the trees around them. Jun pressed a button on his suit, and he too became hard to see. Remember, we observe only, Jun said. No contact with the humans. Hae-Nul laughed softly. Are you scared of these weak creatures? I am careful, Jun replied. That is why I am still alive. They moved through the forest like shadows. Earth's gravity was stronger than they expected, but not enough to slow them down. The air smelled rich with life. Small animals scattered as the aliens passed. So many life forms, June whispered, scanning a beetle with his wrist device. This planet is a treasure of genetic material. Newell pointed ahead. Light. Human camp. Through the trees, they saw a small clearing with 3 tents. A fire burned in the center where 5 humans sat talking. They wore simple clothes and carried long sticks with metal parts. Hunting tools, Jum said, zooming in with his eye implants. Primitive but effective against the local animals. Newell moved closer. I want to hear them speak. As they crept toward the camp, something strange happened. Their camouflage technology began to flicker. Static ran across Newell's skin. Something's wrong, she hissed. My systems are failing. June checked his equipment. Mine too. We should. He never finished his sentence. A loud bang cut through the night, and dirt exploded near June's feet. The humans were standing now, pointing their tools toward them. Impossible, Newell whispered. They can't see us. But the humans could. The oldest human, a weathered man with gray hair, shouted commands to the others. They spread out in a practiced pattern, surrounding the aliens. Keho. Over there, one human called out, pointing directly at June. The oldest human, Kaiho, raised his weapon and fired again. This time, the shot hit a tree inches from Newell's head. We need to retreat, Jum said, already backing away. Now, another human appeared behind them, as if from nowhere. How had they not detected him? The human swung a heavy metal tool, striking June in the back. June fell forward, surprised by the strength of the blow. Newell hissed and released a cloud of stunning gas. 2 humans dropped to their knees, coughing, but the others pulled masks over their faces with shocking speed. Run, Newell shouted to June. June tried to stand, but a net fell over him, weighted with stones. He slashed at it with his claws, but more humans appeared, throwing ropes around his legs. Newell faced a terrible choice: stay and fight or return with information. As a predator, leaving a team member behind was shameful, but the mission was more important. She leaped into the trees, her powerful legs carrying her away from the camp. Shots rang out behind her. One grazed her arm, burning her skin. How? How could simple humans fight so effectively against superior beings? Newell reached the ship and slammed her hand on the door control. As the ship prepared for takeoff, she looked back into the forest. In the distance, she saw lights moving. The humans were coming. The ship rose just as the first humans broke through the trees. Kehoe stood at the front, looking up without fear as the alien ship lifted into the night sky. Back on the moon base, Sung Min and Du Yun received Newell's emergency signal. What do you mean? June is captured. Sung Min demanded when Newell's ship docked. By humans? Impossible. Newell's arm was bandaged where the human weapon had hit her. Not only possible, but it happened. These humans, she paused, struggling to find words. They hunt differently. They work together in ways I've never seen. Do Yoon looked at the video footage from Newell's recorder. They anticipated your moves. How? Sung Min paced the room, his confidence shaken for the first time. No lesser species has ever captured one of us. Never in our history. Well, Newell said grimly, history has changed. They put him in a box. Sung Min asked, staring at the screen in disbelief. Newell nodded. Not just any box. Look at the walls. That's laboratory-grade containment. The team watched the grainy video feed they had managed to access from Earth. Their tracking implant in June was still working, allowing them to hack into nearby human cameras. June lay on a metal table, strapped down but conscious. Humans in white clothes moved around him, taking samples and readings. They're not afraid of him, Du Yun said, amazed. Look at how they touch his skin, test his claws. Any normal prey would be terrified. Sung Min zoomed in on one human, a woman who seemed to be leading the others. Who is she? Do-yoon checked the translation of the human speech they had recorded. They call her Captain Ji-won. Military scientist, I think. On the screen, Ji-won carefully collected fluid from one of Jun's toxin glands. Jun tried to release a poison cloud, but nothing happened. They've neutralized his defenses somehow, Hae-Newell said. That should be impossible with their technology level. Do-yoon had been quiet, studying human history files they had downloaded from Earth's information networks. Now he looked up, his face serious. I think I know why predators avoid Earth, he said. Look at this. He showed them images from human history. Humans hunting animals twice their size, humans controlling fire, humans building increasingly complex tools. These creatures have eliminated most natural predators on their own planet, Do-yoon explained. Tigers, wolves, bears, all either gone or controlled in small areas. So they're good at killing their own planet's life. That doesn't explain how they captured Jun, Sungmin said. Do-yoon swiped to new images, human wars, weapons, destruction. They're also excellent at killing each other. They'd been practicing warfare for thousands of years. When they're not fighting other species, they fight themselves. Hae-Newell leaned closer to the screen. These weapons, some could hurt even our kind. Exactly, Do-yoon said, and they advance quickly. This weapon is from 100 years ago, and this one from just 10 years ago. The difference is enormous. Some men paced the room. We need to rescue Jun before they learn too much from him. His body contains secrets of our biology. On the screen, the human Captain Ji-won was now examining Jun's technology. She held his wrist device, studying it carefully. She's already figuring out how it works, Hae-Newell said. How is that possible? Do-yoon pointed to more human history images. Adaptation. It's what they do best. They take new ideas and improve them faster than any species I've studied. The feed suddenly showed new humans entering the room. These wore different clothes and carried weapons. The leader was the same weathered man who had led the forest group, Kiho. The hunter, Hae-Newell said with respect in her voice. He found us without any technology, just his senses. They watched as Kiho spoke with Ji-won, pointing at different parts of Jun's equipment. Ji-won nodded and gave orders to her team. They're working together, the military scientist and the forest hunter, Do-yoon said. That's the human advantage. They share knowledge across different types of humans. Some men made a decision. We need to rescue Jun immediately. Hae-Newell, prepare the weapons. Do-yoon, find the weakest point in their facility. As they prepared for the rescue mission, the screen showed Ji-won successfully activating Jun's wrist device. She smiled as she showed it to the others. They learned too quickly, Sungmin said, a new feeling growing inside him. It took him a moment to recognize it. For the first time in his life, Sungmin felt fear of another species. Hurry, he told his team. We're running out of time. Night covered the human military base. Sungmin checked his weapons one last time. The plan was simple. Get in, find Jun. Get out. All systems ready, Hae-Newell reported. Her skin had turned completely black to match the darkness. The humans have basic security. Motion sensors, cameras, armed guards. Nothing we can't handle. Do-yoon looked worried. Don't underestimate them. Remember what happened to Jun. Sungmin activated his own camouflage suit. We won't make the same mistakes. This time, we're ready for them. Their small ship landed silently 1 mile from the base. The 3 aliens moved quickly through the forest, staying low and avoiding open areas. When they reached the fence around the base, Hae-Newell cut through it easily with her laser tool. Too easy, she whispered. Do-yoon checked his scanner. Jun is in the central building. 3rd floor, east side. They slipped past the first guards without being seen. Sungmin felt his confidence return. These humans were no match for trained predators. Then everything went wrong. Alarms suddenly blared across the compound. Lights flashed on. flooding the area with brightness. Soldiers appeared from nowhere, surrounding them with weapons raised. "It's a trap," Newell hissed, reaching for her stunner. Some men fired first, his weapon sending 2 humans flying backward. But more kept coming. They wore strange goggles that must have helped them see through the alien camouflage. "Fall back," Sung Min ordered. Too late. A net of energy fell over Newell, sending her to the ground. Sung Min tried to help her, but bullets rained around him. He dove behind a concrete block, amazed at the human's coordination. Do-yoon was still free, crouching behind a vehicle. He pointed to a small building nearby. "There. Emergency exit." Sung Min nodded. He threw his last smoke bomb, filling the area with thick gas. In the confusion, he grabbed Newell and dragged her toward the building. The energy net had weakened, allowing him to tear it apart. "They knew we were coming," Newell said through pain. "They were waiting for us." Inside the building, they found stairs leading up. Do-yoon's scanner showed June was directly above them now. "We can still complete the mission," Sung Min said. They climbed to the 3rd floor. The hallway was empty, but Sung Min felt uneasy. This was too simple. The door to June's room had no lock. Sung Min pushed it open slowly, weapon ready. June was there, still strapped to the table. But so was Captain Ji-won, standing calmly beside him. She smiled when she saw them. "Welcome," she said in perfect alien language. "We've been expecting you." Sung Min froze. "How can you speak our language?" Ji-won pointed to June. "Your friend has been very helpful." Not willingly, of course. More humans entered the room from hidden doors. Among them was Kei-ho, holding what looked like June's communication device. "You used his signal to lure us here," Do-yoon realized. Ji-won nodded. "We wanted to meet more of you." Some men saw they were surrounded. Fighting would be useless. "What do you want from us?" "Knowledge," Ji-won said simply. "Your species travels between stars. We want to know how." A loud explosion shook the building. Through the window, some men saw their ship rising into the air. Newell had secretly sent the launch command from her backup device. "Now," some men shouted. He fired at the ceiling, creating a hole large enough to jump through. Do-yoon leaped first, using his powerful legs to reach the roof. Some men prepared to follow, but looked back at June. Their eyes met. Both knew some men couldn't save him now. "Tell the council," June said. "Tell them what humans really are." Another explosion rocked the building. Newell had reached the roof and was providing cover fire. Some men jumped, reaching the roof as bullets flew around him. Their ship hovered above, ready for a quick escape. But as he prepared to jump to the ship, he saw something that chilled him to his core. A human soldier had pushed Ji-won out of the way of falling debris, taking the impact himself. The human lay injured, but Ji-won was safe. A predator would never sacrifice itself for another. Never. "What are these creatures?" Some men whispered as he leaped to the ship. Behind them, the human base grew smaller. They had failed to rescue June. Worse, they had given the humans a second captive. Do-yoon hadn't made it to the ship. For the first time in his life, some men had retreated from prey. But deep down, he knew the humans were not prey at all. They were something far more dangerous. Newell's wounds were healing slowly. She sat in the moon base control room, watching Earth through the monitors. Some men had barely spoken since their return from the failed rescue mission. "We lost 2 team members," Newell said finally. "The council will not be pleased." Some men nodded. "We must understand what happened. How did humans defeat us so easily?" They had been monitoring human communications since returning to the moon. Their computers translated the radio signals, television broadcasts, and internet data that flowed endlessly from the blue planet. "Look at this," some men said, pointing to a screen. They'd been sending signals into space for over 100 years. Messages, music, pictures. They want to find other life. Newell moved closer. Why would prey species want to attract attention? That makes no sense. Because they don't see themselves as prey, Sungmin replied. They see themselves as the hunters. On another screen, they watched a news report about the alien incident. The human government was trying to keep it secret, but people were talking. Some were afraid, but many were excited about meeting aliens. They're not running away in fear, Haenul observed. They're curious about us. Sungmin had found something even more disturbing in the human data. I think I know why no Predator team ever reported back from Earth. He showed Haenul a file he had discovered deep in human military records. It contained blurry images of crashed ships, alien ships, reports of captured non-human entities, recovered technology. 17 different incidents in the last century alone. Sungmin said, different ships, different species. None of them ours, but all clearly not from Earth. Haenul's skin turned pale with shock. 17. And we never heard about any of them. Because none got away to tell the story, Sungmin said grimly. Until now. Meanwhile, on Earth, Du-Yun was having a very different experience. Unlike June, he was not strapped to a table. Instead, he sat in a room with a bed, a desk, and a window. The door was locked, but he was treated well. Captain Jae-won visited him daily, asking questions about his world. At first, Du-Yun refused to answer, but as days passed, he became curious about her too. Why don't you fear me? He asked during one visit. I could kill you with my claws. Jae-won smiled. But you won't. You're a scientist, like me. You want to understand, not destroy. She showed him videos of Earth, cities, farms, schools. He watched children playing, people working together, families sharing meals. Your people hunted most predators on your planet to extinction, Du-Yun said. You're killers. We're survivors, Jae-won corrected. We protect what matters to us. Yes, we can be violent when threatened. But look closer. She showed him more videos. Humans saving animals from danger, rebuilding forests, helping each other after disasters. We're not just predators, she explained. We're protectors too. That's what you don't understand. Do-Yun thought about this. In predator society, the strong survived by defeating the weak. Protection was only for one's own offspring, no one else. The human way was strange. One day, Jae-won took Do-Yun to a school under heavy security. He watched human children learning about space, practicing math, playing games. One small girl approached him without fear. Are you from the stars? She asked. Do-Yun nodded, surprised. Will you teach us about the universe? She asked. Before he could answer, the girl was called away by her teacher. But the question stayed with him. Predators never shared knowledge with prey. Yet these humans wanted to learn, to grow, to understand. That night, Do-Yun made a decision. He would tell Jae-won the truth about why the research team had come to Earth. Not because he had given up, but because he was beginning to wonder if the predator way was truly superior. Back on the moon, some men reached the same conclusion for very different reasons. He sent an urgent message to the Predator Council. Earth must be quarantined immediately, the message read. Humans are not prey. They are the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. Haenul's wounds were healing slowly. She sat in the moon base control room, watching Earth through the monitors. Some men had barely spoken since their return from the failed rescue mission. We lost 2 team members, Haenul said finally. The council will not be pleased. Some men nodded. We must understand what happened. How did humans defeat us so easily? They had been monitoring human communications since returning to the moon. Their computers translated the radio signals, television broadcasts, and internet data that flowed endlessly from the blue planet. Look at this, Sungmin said, pointing to a screen. They've been sending signals into space for over 100 years. Messages, music, pictures. They want to find other life. Haenul moved closer. Why would prey species want to attract attention? That makes no sense. Because they don't see themselves as prey, some men replied. They see themselves as the hunters. On another screen, they watched a news report about the alien incident. The human government was trying to keep it secret, but people were talking. Some were afraid, but many were excited about meeting aliens. They're not running away in fear, Haynul observed. They're curious about us. Some men had found something even more disturbing in the human data. I think I know why no Predator team ever reported back from Earth. He showed Haynul a file he had discovered deep in human military records. It contained blurry images of crashed ships, alien ships, reports of captured non-human entities, recovered technology. 17 different incidents in the last century alone. Some men said, different ships, different species. None of them ours, but all clearly not from Earth. Haynul's skin turned pale with shock. 17. And we never heard about any of them. Because none got away to tell the story, some men said grimly. Until now. Meanwhile, on Earth, Du Yun was having a very different experience. Unlike June, he was not strapped to a table. Instead, he sat in a room with a bed, a desk, and a window. The door was locked, but he was treated well. Captain Jaiwon visited him daily, asking questions about his world. At first, Du Yun refused to answer, but as days passed, he became curious about her too. Why don't you fear me? He asked during one visit. I could kill you with my claws. Jaiwon smiled. But you won't. You're a scientist, like me. You want to understand, not destroy. She showed him videos of Earth, cities, farms, schools. He watched children playing, people working together, families sharing meals. Your people hunted most predators on your planet to extinction, Du Yun said. You're killers. We're survivors, Jaiwon corrected. We protect what matters to us. Yes, we can be violent when threatened. But look closer. She showed him more videos. Humans saving animals from danger, rebuilding forests, helping each other after disasters. We're not just predators, she explained. We're protectors too. That's what you don't understand. Du Yun thought about this. In predator society, the strong survived by defeating the weak. Protection was only for one's own offspring, no one else. The human way was strange. One day, Jaiwon took Du Yun to a school under heavy security. He watched human children learning about space, practicing math, playing games. One small girl approached him without fear. Are you from the stars? She asked. Du Yun nodded, surprised. Will you teach us about the universe? She asked. Before he could answer, the girl was called away by her teacher. But the question stayed with him. Predators never shared knowledge with prey. Yet these humans wanted to learn, to grow, to understand. That night, Du Yun made a decision. He would tell Jaiwon the truth about why the research team had come to Earth. Not because he had given up, but because he was beginning to wonder if the predator way was truly superior. Back on the moon, some men reached the same conclusion for very different reasons. He sent an urgent message to the Predator Council. Earth must be quarantined immediately. The message read, humans are not prey. They are the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. Minwoo looked at the massive structure floating in space. The warning beacon was almost complete. Standing taller than 3 Predator ships, it was built from metals that could last for thousands of years. Final power systems are online, reported one of his engineers. The beacon will activate in 6 hours. Minwoo nodded. As the chief engineer from the Triangulum Galaxy, he had been chosen to lead this important project. The council wanted warning beacons at every approach to Earth's solar system. Any predator ship that came near would receive clear warnings to stay away. Make sure the universal symbols are visible from all angles, Minwoo ordered. No predator should miss the warning. His team had been working at the edge of Earth's solar system for 3 weeks. They kept their distance from the inner planets. No one wanted to get close to the dangerous blue world where 2 predator agents were still held captive. Minwoo checked the warning message one more time. It used simple pictures that any space-traveling species would understand. Danger. Death. Stay away. "Sir," called one of his scanner operators, "I'm picking up something strange." Minwoo moved to the scanner station. "What is it?" "Energy readings from inside the solar system," the operator said, moving toward us. Minwoo looked at the readout. Something was coming from the direction of Earth. Several somethings. "Put it on the main screen," he ordered. The large display showed 5 objects moving through space. They were ships, but not like any Minwoo had seen before. They looked rough, with odd angles and mismatched parts. "Magnify," he said. The screen zoomed in on the lid ship. Minwoo felt a chill run through his body. The ship had writing on its side in human letters. But worse, he could see parts that looked familiar. Too familiar. "They're using our technology," he said quietly. "They've built ships using parts from the ones they captured." The scanner operator looked up in alarm. "Sir, they're moving faster than should be possible with their level of technology." Minwoo studied the ship's movement. They weren't just fast. They were jumping through space in short bursts. They figured out how to use jump drives, Minwoo realized. Somehow they've reversed engineered faster than light travel. The engineer beside him shook her head. "That's impossible. It took our species centuries to develop jump technology. Apparently humans work faster," Minwoo said grimly. The communication officer called out, "Sir, the human ships have changed course. They're heading directly toward us. They'll reach our position in 20 minutes." Minwoo faced a difficult choice. The beacon wasn't fully operational yet. If they left now, the humans might destroy it. If they stayed to finish, they might be captured like the research team. He thought about what Sungmin had reported to the council. Humans were dangerous, but they weren't mindless killers. They were curious. They wanted to learn. "Send a message to the council," Minwoo decided. "Tell them human ships have left their planet using jump technology. Then prepare our surrender signal." His crew stared at him in shock. "Surrender?" his second-in-command asked. "No predator has ever surrendered to prey." "These aren't prey," Minwoo said firmly. "The council has declared them something new, and I would rather live to report what I learned than die uselessly." The human ships grew larger on the screen. They moved with surprising grace for such new vessels. "Play the surrender signal on all frequencies," Minwoo ordered, "and hope they understand it." As the signal went out, the lead human ship slowed. A response came almost immediately. A simple message in several languages. One of them was the standard trade language used across many galaxies. "We wish to talk," the message read. "No harm will come to those who do not attack." Minwoo felt a strange mix of fear and curiosity. No predator had ever had a conversation with humans and reported back to tell about it. He would be the first. "Prepare for contact," he told his nervous crew. "We're about to make history." Minwoo stood straight as the airlock opened. His team gathered behind him, tense and ready. None of them had ever expected to meet humans face to face. The first figure that stepped through the airlock surprised them all. It was Du Yun, the missing anthropologist from the research team. He looked healthy and calm. "Greetings, Engineer Minwoo," Du Yun said. "I am here to translate." Minwoo stared in confusion. "You are helping them?" "Willingly." Du Yun nodded. "Much has changed. Please, meet Captain Ji-1 of Earth's First Contact Division." A human female entered next. She was small compared to the predators, but she moved with confidence. She wore a blue uniform with strange markings. Behind her came several other humans, including an older male Minwoo recognized from the reports as Kaiho, the forest hunter. "We welcome you," Ji-1 said through Du Yun's translation. "Thank you for choosing to talk instead of fight." Minwoo remained cautious. "You have captured our people. You have stolen our technology." Ji-1's face showed no fear. "We defended ourselves against unknown visitors who came to our world in secret. Wouldn't your people do the same? It was a fair point. Minwoo glanced at the warning beacon visible through the viewport. Then you know why we are here. To warn others away from Earth, Jaiwon said. Yes, Du Yun has explained. The human captain stepped closer. But we have a different idea. We don't want to be isolated from the universe. We want to learn, to explore, to connect with other intelligent life. Minwoo was surprised. You don't understand. The Council has declared your system forbidden territory. Because you fear us, Kiho said suddenly. Du Yun translated his rough words. You think we are dangerous. We know you are dangerous, Minwoo replied. Jaiwon smiled. All intelligent species can be dangerous when threatened, but we can also be peaceful when treated with respect. She motioned toward the door, and two more figures entered. One was Jun, the captured weapons specialist. He also looked healthy, though changed somehow. With him was a young human female in a white coat. This is Dr. Lee, Jaiwon introduced her. She has been working with Jun on mutual understanding of our biologies. Jun stepped forward. They could have dissected me, Minwoo. Instead, they asked questions. They shared knowledge. They offered cooperation. Minwoo could hardly believe what he was hearing. Predators do not cooperate with prey. Perhaps that is why humans have advanced so quickly, Du Yun said. They cooperate not just within their species, but with others. They see strength in diversity, not just in power. Jaiwon handed Minwoo a small device. This contains our proposal. We suggest a treaty. We will respect your territories if you respect ours. We will share certain technologies if you will share yours. We ask for communication, not isolation. Minwoo took the device carefully. The Council will never agree to this. Then let them keep their distance, Jaiwon said. But allow others to choose for themselves. Not all species need to be enemies. Minwoo looked at Du Yun and Jun, standing comfortably among the humans. Something had clearly changed them. They seemed at peace. What do you really want? Minwoo asked the humans directly. Kaiho answered, to protect our home, to learn about the stars, to find friends, not just enemies. Minwoo had lived his entire life seeing the universe divided simply, predators and prey. Now these small, soft creatures from a backwater planet were suggesting something new. 1 month later, Minwoo stood before the Predator Council. Jin-ho and the others listened in stunned silence as he presented the human treaty proposal. They don't want war, Minwoo concluded. They want exchange. They're willing to stay within their borders if we respect them. And if we refuse? Jin-ho asked. Minwoo displayed the final images he had recorded, the growing fleet of human ships, now numbering in the dozens, all equipped with jump drives. Then we face an enemy who learns faster than any species we've encountered, he said. One that turns weakness into strength and adapts without limit. The council chambers were silent. Then Jin-ho spoke the words that would change the course of galactic history. We accept the human terms. Earth will be avoided. Not because we fear them, but because we respect them. At the edge of Earth's solar system, the warning beacons remained, but their message changed. They no longer warned of danger and death. Instead, they marked the beginning of something entirely new, a boundary between equals.